the Study and Philanthropic Center. We are honored to welcome him. He is a senior monk of Ramakrishna order and he is well known as an able administrator and spiritual mentor. He presently heads the New Delhi Center of the Ramakrishna Mission. He had a long history of 30 years at the international headquarters, Belur. He had rare privilege of association with some of the luminaries of the order. At Belur, he exercised his expertise in the areas of financial administration and fund management. He was also closely associated with some of the pioneering staff welfare schemes. Swami Shantatmanandji was a pioneer influencing in setting up an NGO in the suburbs of Calcutta called Sharda Devi Sangha, which is managed by more than 100 trained women volunteers. And women volunteers, it happens to be one of his exceptional achievements in the area of women's empowerment, which is a developmental area close to the vision of nation building. He is deeply committed to the spreading of value education among the youth, especially in the school and college students. He has been closely associated with development of a number of insightful programs on value education, all based on man-making and character-building ideas of Swami Vivekananda. He has been a member of some of the high-powered committees of government of NCR, Delhi, CBSE, etc. and has been invited to speak by various school, college, universities and organization, corporates, financial institutions, government bodies and religious cultural organizations. He is also passionately involved in interfaith dialogue leading to closer understanding between different faiths and is deeply committed to peace initiatives all over the world.
Expansion is life and contraction is death. So, how do you define this expansion? আপনাদের সবাই কোনো অসুবিধা নেই না ইংরেজি? So he said that expansion is life and contraction is death. And this contains an extraordinary philosophy. A philosophy of self-actualization, self-realization, knowing our true nature. So many things are embedded in this idea of expansion. Because expansion, you can understand in so many words. Business empires expand, business expands, family expands, we also expand physically. These are all one dimension expansion. But true expansion is only when we become more and more expanded in such a way so as to include a larger and larger number of people. At one point of time you become so expanded that you feel probably the whole universe is included that way. So that is true expansion. And why Swamiji called expansion is life? Because then only a true meaning of life can be achieved or felt or experienced in such a kind of expansion or in such a kind of state of mind. So this expansion is related to the concept of freedom that we talk about in Hindu religion. Because Hindu religion, as you all know, talks about 4 types of purusharthas or 4 objectives or 4 goals of life, namely dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So while all the others are, stepping stones, ultimately it's moksha or true freedom is what really brings peace and joy, happiness, fulfillment, a sense of completeness, a sense of totality. So long ago, thousands of years ago, Hindus have clearly declared that freedom or moksha is the true goal of life. So how is this freedom experienced? What exactly is freedom? Freedom is of so many. Again, all that, any perspective can be taken further to deeper and deeper levels of understanding. Freedom, many countries we talk of political freedom, we talk of economic freedom, we talk freedom of expression, women's liberation, women's freedom, equality, gender equality. So many types of freedoms we talk about. All these are all only, in a sense, fragmentary ideas of freedom or partial ideas of freedom. If you feel that your nation is free, then some other nation is bound. Your freedom comes at the expense of something else. You are free from something, you are bound by something else. There is economic freedom, there is no freedom in terms of our thought, our expression, our feelings, our nature. So, all these freedoms, whatever we normally understand or we talk about, all seem to address only a limited dimension or a limited area of our life, this kind of freedom. But the type of freedom that Hindus talk about, or the true Hinduism talks about, is that an extraordinary sense of freedom which includes every other aspect of freedom. It's something like, supposing you have a budget, you have an income. Say, supposing every month you earn, say, $100,000 is your income. But even that you have to apportion. So you cannot say that I will go, every day I will go and have a 5-star hotel party. Then it won't last even 10 days perhaps. So then you set apart, so much for this purpose, so much for my marketing, so much for my partying, so much for my excursion and going out, so much for my children's education. No, but supposing, you suddenly you get one day a very beautiful letter from Citibank which says that some unknown relatives of yours has left behind billions of dollars in her bank account and she has made you as a sole nominee. And after that, then for spending, you don't have to keep track at all. Whatever you want to spend, you just issue a check. Anything. Because all your lifetime, your next 2 generations or 3 generations can't spend that kind of money. So initially, even if you have a good income, you have to apportion, set apart for various purposes. But supposing you get that kind of a windfall, somewhere, somehow, unknown person leaves behind such a huge treasure for you, then you no longer calculate how do I spend, where from the money comes. Similarly, the freedom that Hinduism talks about is an all-inclusive freedom. There is no restriction, there is no limitation to that. So that which frees you completely from every kind of a bondage, every kind of limitation, that is total freedom. Now, how does it come about? And what is the true understanding of such kind of a freedom with relation to our own existence or our personality? Now, if you think of that, you must understand when you talk about freedom, you immediately, the word freedom again brings to the mind the idea of bondage. It's only in terms of bondage you talk of freedom. So, to understand what is true freedom, you must understand bondage. You must understand where we are bound, where we face our limitations, where we are restricted, where we are constrained, where we are not able to exercise that. See, because if that freedom is wonderful, why not everyone have it? Why should we not have, all of us have that kind of freedom which takes us beyond all unhappiness, beyond all suffering, beyond all kind of dissatisfaction or whatever it is. Why don't we all enjoy that kind of freedom or even aspire for it? That is because we even do not know that we are bound, that we are constrained, we are constricted, we are restrained, we have limitations. So, but once such an idea comes to your mind, once you start thinking about such a freedom or such an idea, then slowly you start evolving in terms of ideas. And you find out what is it? What is it that... And this awareness comes through so many sources. First of all, the easiest or the most tangibly felt area of our creating this kind of awareness in our mind is experience of any dukkha or suffering or any sorrow. Because life is going on very nicely, very smoothly. Suddenly somebody dies. Someone who is so dear and near to you dies. Or someone, you have something greatly possessed, item, property, things, dress, something. It's stolen, it's lost. You lost huge money investment. So anything that was holding you, to which you were so deeply attached, or with which you had a great sense of bonding, if that is lost, if that disappears, you experience terrible sorrow or suffering. When you understand all that happiness, etc., that I was enjoying was only apparent, that was not true, that was not long lasting. It can go away anytime. Whatever I consider so worthy of possessing, so nice, so enduring, so alluring, so attractive, that can bring a tremendous sense of sorrow because that can go away. We put so much, we love our body so much. When we are young, we put on so much cosmetic, these, that, best of dress, these, best and all that. Suddenly one day you find that in a mirror you can't look at your own face, full of wrinkles, these, that. Is it that same person? I was so beautiful when I was young. So all that we find that in the world, whatever we treasure, whatever we run about, whatever we crave for, whatever we hold on to, whatever that binds us, attracts us, you find all these have only a limited or a transitory existence. So then you find that somehow or other, sorrow catches you, suffering catches you, dukkha comes into your life. Then you understand, yes, there is limitation. Yes, there is bondage. So is there any way which can take us beyond this? See, that is what is a great journey which one of the greatest personalities to have ever been born on this earth undertook. Buddha. He was brought up in such luxury, in such comfort. Suddenly one day he happened to see one after another a dead corpse being carried, an old and decrepit man, a sick person. So what is all that? Then he said, yes, his Sarati, his charioteer said, yes, Gautama, all that can come upon you also. Oh, so then for the first time, it dawned on Buddha's mind, all the luxury, all the comfort that he enjoyed can all go away in no time. That set him thinking. And he was such a serious person. He went out, he renounced the world and went on to conquer his own mind and reach the Buddhahood or true knowledge. So, each one of us at some point of time, because this idea of suffering or dukkha comes into the life of every one of us. So slowly we understand all that we run after, all that we think are so worthy, possessive, etc. have limitations. They are not there for all time. They can go away anytime. They have a transitory existence only. Then you start thinking, what is it that I can do? Then that's what our Shastras give us guidance, great personalities give us guidance, Mahapurushas give us guidance, Avataras show us the way. What is the way? They say that the only way to overcome the suffering or sorrow or the dukkha, etc., is to understand what is your true nature and develop to such an extent that you are no longer bothered by all. So one of the ways that they talk about is that in your real nature, you are that supreme personality. You have no limitation. You have no bondage. You have no birth, death. You are of that infinite nature. You realize that, then you will no longer be bothered by all that. See, this is initially, this is only a concept. How do we believe How do you believe that we are birthless? How do you believe we are deathless? How do you believe that we are beyond this body? How do we understand all that? Initially, it's all only a theory or a concept or something. But as you go on struggling, slowly they are all clearly well-defined methods of doing and so on. So you will come to know. For example, we are so much conditioned by the idea that I am the body. And normally we know that we need certain amount of sleep, certain amount of food. But then there are times when we are absolutely, we find that we are beyond all. For example, I'm staying with the host, with a very young couple. So that lady, because there is some puja, some small puja was to be done, whole night she could not sleep. Do we do like that? Normally by 10, 10:30, 11, we simply fall down, so sleepy. Nothing can hold us back. But occasion, suddenly, something, the mind works on the body. Normally, the mind simply accepts the body's suggestion. Oh, you are tired. Oh, go and sleep. Don't exert. You will fall sick. You will catch cold. Don't go like that. Don't strain. You always overdo. Immediately, you go and sleep. But certain times, the mind says, no, you should not sleep. Tomorrow there is puja. Somebody is going to do some offering. Keep awake whole night. Excitement. What to do? Doing this, that. Then, from 2:30 that person is ready. Taking bath, preparing this, that, everything. So, it's very clear. Normally we are so much slave to our body. There are moments when the body completely obeys us. So it's very clear what we apparently understand is not all our real nature. There are situations, there are occasions when we seem to really transcend the idea that we are the body. So what normally happens is, in our day-to-day life, we experience such moments once in a week. And quite often without our control. Not that we deliberately want to keep away. Something happens, something triggers, and we do that. But Shastras say that if you practice, there are ways, there are methods. If you do that, you get such complete control over your body and mind. Then you understand that you are not this limited personality, you are the infinite personality. You are boundless, you are birthless, you are deathless, and so on. So, now, the idea, first of all, something triggers in your mind, such kind of a behavior. Then you start looking at it, and you start, what is the methodology? Who are the people who have guided you? What can happen? So many people have given so many prescriptions. So, Swami Vivekananda, he gave one prescription. He said, each soul is potentially divine. The idea that I said that we are the huge, infinite, boundless, birthless, deathless, eternal nature, Swami Vivekananda calls it as divine. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. The whole of life, the one goal of our life is to manifest this divinity. How to do it? He says, do it either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. Freedom. Freedom is the goal. Only when you are free, you will realize that you are of that supreme nature. You are that divine. You are that infinite. You are that boundless personality. To realize that, you must achieve freedom. How to achieve this freedom? He says you can do it through work, through meditation, through jnana or philosophy, or through bhakti or devotion. Any method you can do. Rest are all, he says, books and temples and rituals are but secondary details. All these are all only details. Actual thing is freedom. Another path you can select. So, what happens? We started with the discussion that expansion. Expand, expand, expand. How does this freedom come about? When you expand. What is this divinity? Divinity Swamiji's idea of expansion is life means you expand to such an extent you become extraordinarily expanded. So, if you find that, in the world also, all this reason for our sufferings, our sorrow, our difficulty, everything is because we have somehow we have got this idea of narrowness. We feel that I am Bangladeshi, he is Indian, oh, he is my enemy. I am Bangladeshi, he is American, so he is an enemy. I am black, you are white, there is division. I am man, you are woman, there is division. So any division means contraction. That's what Swamiji says. Whenever you divide, whenever you create a dividing line between you and anything else, it can be within your own body, within your own mind. One part of your mind says something, another part of your mind something, there is a division. So that's why Swamiji said, as long as you contract, as long as there is a narrow or a limited idea of anything, there is death, there is suffering, there is sorrow, there are difficulties, there are insurmountable problems, but how do you get into them? You start expanding more, then you have only limited space, only 100 people can see. Buy a huge property, 1,000 can. Buy a huge mansion, then hundreds of acres, any number of people can. So, everywhere you see in life also, expansion is what brings you fulfillment, what brings you happiness, what brings you completeness. But Swamiji says, all these at an existential level, there are limitations. You can have 100 acres, but supposing 10 lakhs people come, or 1 billion people come, 100 acres will be insufficient. So in the existential world, in the physical world, in a world of this kind of a limited world, whatever you do can bring limitation. The only thing is, become infinite. Supposing it's like becoming one with the sky. Any amount of space. Let millions and billions of aircrafts go, still there is space in the sky. Similarly, our personality should be so expanded. That is what would give that true freedom or the divinity or whatever Swamiji talks about. For us, he says, there are all these methods are possible. To know that you are that infinite, you can do it in any way. And the first statement, that first idea Swamiji gives there is work. You can do this through work. So work through work, Swami Vivekananda gives a prescription whereby he says you can understand your true nature and work and expand. So how does it happen in work? Work we find that always, and there is this thing, there is always we find, no, I will do this, you do this, you give me this work, I will only serve Maharaj, you won't stand there, I want to be here. But all that, initially when you struggle, all that can happen. But as you progress, as you go ahead, work can bring you that kind of a freedom, that kind of an expansion. Now, why did Swami Vivekananda say this? Where was the foundation for such an understanding of work? That he got this idea from Sri Ramakrishna. In Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar, one day they were discussing about 3 tenets of Vaishnava religion. Sri Ramakrishna said there are 3 things which Vaishnavas believe: Name Ruchi, Jive Daya, Vaishnava Seva. First is taste for the Lord's name. Nam, Ruchi in the name. That's okay. Then he said, compassion to jivas. Then immediately he went into samadhi. What is this? When he came down, he said, what? You are such an insignificant, puny little creature like worm. You can show compassion to others? No, it is not compassion. It is service of God in man. Shiv Gyan se Jeev Shiva. What is the idea of compassion? Some religions practice compassion also. Compassion means I am superior, I am gifted, I have this, I have money, I have power, I have so many things. You are poor, you are below, you are underprivileged. I am giving you. I am doing this charity. I am condescending to help you. That is the idea of compassion. Compassion immediately means high and low. Wherever there is high and low, wherever there is division, always there is sorrow, there is suffering, and there is no liberation, no freedom. Because oh, I did so much. You did not recognize. You did not remember. You were in trouble. I helped you so much. You did not even say thanks. There is no gratitude. All that will happen. See, nobody is recognizing me. My name is not coming in the papers. They are not putting up any board for my charity. Because there is always the idea of high and low. I am superior. I am giving. So Sri Ram said, no compassion, not compassion, but service of God in man. Shiv Gyan se Jeev Seva. So he did not expand that further, but Swami Vivekananda was also present in the room along with others. He said, today I have heard something new, and should God give me an opportunity one day, I will proclaim this before the entire world. That is what he developed later on in the wonderful philosophy of work, and through that he established the Ramakrishna mission. Why this idea? Because Swami Vivekananda thought that there is so much of energy in all of us. All of us work from morning to night. 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. But what is the result of such a work? Constantly we work for our own benefit, for salary, for this, for that, for name and fame, for all those things we do. But can work be of a higher dimension? Is it possible? Then only the work will lead to freedom. Otherwise we always find that work is creating so much of bondage. We get difference of opinion. There is high and low, there is division, there is misunderstanding, there are so many problems that come in. How can work be one of elevation? Why all these problems are coming? It's all because of our own nature. We are not evolved. Our mind is like that. It is struggling. It's trying to grasp with that idea. Again and again, because of, there are so many factors. There is no time, otherwise we can go on and on and on. There are so many reasons for the way we behave, the kind of blows that we get inward. But if you are a discerning person, if you keep your spirit of Viveka and Vichara alive, through every blow you learn. Today this is this blow. So and so did like this. So and so behaved that way. Such a thing happened. You reflect, you find out why it is so. Then you will find that ultimately everything is in the subjective world. It's my own world, my own mind. Supposing, now this gentleman is sitting here. Now someone is sitting very near him. He keeps on, he scolds him, uses most abusive language. Will I get angry? Will I go and beat him? At first I may say, no, please don't shout like that. He's also, after all, one of the persons who have come here. But supposing, he's sitting here, he's turning that side, he's saying. Supposing you turn this side, same words, then I start jumping. Oh, you don't know I'm a Swami. I come from Delhi. How can you say that? Why? Same words. 2 minutes ago, facing that direction, used all those words, I was not bothered. I was just laughing. I was talking to somebody else. The moment he turns the direction, I think it is mine. So, all that you find that, whatever that we adopt, accept, feel as suffering, feel as problem, feel as dukkha, feel as incident, everything is because it is in the mind. We feel that way. Supposing when he looks at me, I look at this direction, I don't care. So, ultimately we will find that everything lies in the subjective world, and I alone is responsible. So, in the work initially, when we work, there are a lot of things coming up, lot of problems coming up, because our mind is not trained. We are not trained to do that. Slowly, through every blow, if you take it as an opportunity of growth, rather than you fret and fume and become depressed and all that, no, it has come, I learned, go back, reflect. Why did it happen? That's why Swami Vivekananda says, through such effort, constantly Again and again, only through blows we can all grow. Nothing comes without a price. Least is a spiritual growth. Constantly we suffer, we get blows. But if you are a discerning person, you have the capacity to reflect and to do this Viveka and Vichara, with Viveka and Vichara, then you understand that, oh, this is how it happened. Supposing I don't look at it this way, what happens? Simply it doesn't affect me at all. Somebody came and scolded the Buddha, used such a foul language. So Buddha asked him, someone gives you a gift. If you don't accept it, to whom does it belong? To the giver or the receiver? That person, no, it belongs to the giver. So you are giving me a gift, I don't accept it. So all that remains with you. So in the same way, in the work when you do, again and again, but then if you are a discerning person, you work, then slowly the purification of the mind starts taking place. That's why Swamiji brought in the concept of Nishkam Karma, unselfish work, work for work's sake, work as an offering. From Sri Ramakrishna he got the idea, service of God in man, that he put it into effect through his idea of Karma Yoga, or working that way. Then he says, if you keep on doing it, you reach such a pure state of mind, you become so pure that all the differences start vanishing, all the dividing lines start wiping out. Then you find that you are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So what is really growth? Does it mean that we will not get ill, we will not suffer, we will not scold us, we will not suffer any loss or this or that? Everything is absorbed because your mind has become expanded. You know that when you are limited, you feel, oh, this is lost, this is mine, that is mine, this is gone. But when you expand, you find everything is, the whole world can be your own. So Swamiji brought this idea of Nishkam Karma. So that he says, that is the only way in which you can understand slowly, through hard work, through practice, through suffering, through blows. Then slowly again and again you are reminded. When you reflect, when you do this vichara or this discrimination, then you understand that whatever is happening because my mind is not prepared. My mind has not yet accepted this idea. It's not able to find out what is the real purpose of it. So that is how we can start this. Now what happens? Is it really true? Have people done it? How is it that such a state of mind is possible? So many people, particularly in the Ramakrishna Vivekananda tradition, because Vivekananda brought it, he made this as one of the foundations for this Ramakrishna Sangha, Ramakrishna order. Now from here also so much philanthropic work we are doing. We think, oh, we are giving, we are doing. No. We are doing it because God has given us an opportunity to be of service to somebody. It's all God's wealth. Whose wealth it is? Somebody is giving, somebody is receiving. We are only like a postman. A postman brings money order. If he thinks that I am giving, he is a fool. Somebody is sending the money order, somebody is receiving it, he is only just distributing it. So in the same way, all the service that we do, you start thinking that it's only because God has given me an opportunity. Then you start reflecting, then your mind becomes better and better. It's able to understand. It gets a clear clarity. What is happening? Where am I going? So, there are so many steps or intermediary stages for this growth. So, it's we can, of course, discuss. But, it's already past 9 o'clock. I would like to give you the example. Because, ultimately, if you keep on serving others, if you deny yourself, you suffer, you put your body to difficulty, you control your mind, where does all that lead? Does it really lead to that kind of elevation that you talk about? Then you must see the huge lineage of monks who had led extraordinary life. Today I will just, because some of the devotees who have come with me, they have heard about it earlier, but many of you have not heard. Today I want to share you the life of one of the extraordinary monks of the order. So that would give you an idea how this, where does this work, if done properly, where does it take you? Because no, you see, work we are saying, it will purify your mind, it will expand you, it will give you such a state of mind that you'll be pure, you'll be happy, you'll be perfect, you'll be peaceful. All that we are talking about. There was one Swamiji in the Ramakrishna order. His name was Swami Muktanandaji. This Swami was in a Benares Sevasra. He had not had much of education. Just maybe some, I don't know whether he went past school final or something. So his guru, Swami Shivanandaji, was Thakur's direct disciple, said that you go to Benares and serve, you will get everything there. So this Swami was not even much educated. What work they will give you in hospital? Even otherwise, Benares hospital is very small, simple. Now also, it's not a super speciality or anything. So what he would do? They said that, no, you go to OPD. He'll give you a small desk, a small table, and some dressing materials like cotton and medicine and scissors. You dress the wounds of patients. So he started his work. Daily people would come, he will very, very patiently will clean the wounds, bandage them, apply medicine, send them away. Morning, about 8 o'clock, he will go to OPD, standing. He will work continuously up to 3 o'clock. Then he will come to his room, and then in those days there was no hot carrier or this or that. Somewhere they would have kept some food. He will eat, and he will slowly attend to other things. Like that he went on. But because he had so much faith in his own guru's words, and because he really believed in Swamiji's philosophy of work, within a very short time, he had acquired such a pair of hands. People would come from 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles to be dressed by this Swami. They knew that if he touches, they will be all right. He became so famous. Vishwanath is very famous in Benares, Vishwanath. But the Vishwanath doesn't move, it is stationary, it is one place only. But they will call him as a moving Vishwanath. The temple, the Vishwanath temple is Achal. He does not move. But this is Vishwanath, is a Chalaman Vishwanath. He is moving, living Vishwanath. So he will never go to the temple. Morning 8 to 3, he is so busy. Then he will just go to his room. Then 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, same work, day after day, day after day. Then he developed such severe rheumatism. He found it very difficult to walk to the hospital. But still, every day he would go. They could not make him sit down. He became so sick, finally they had to arrange a wheelchair. So still I would go. Somehow he would go by wheelchair. Once he is made to stand up, again he will work till 3 o'clock, again come back by wheelchair. Then after some time it was impossible to go even by wheelchair. Then they said, no Swamiji, now you must rest. At that time, Benares, I went and saw him. You must see the man's face. It used to shine, glow like light. Because all his life, 40 years or 50 years, he had done such intense, unselfish work that had completely purified him. It had so uplifted him. It had so expanded his personality. People would go just to be in his presence for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He won't talk much. Just his very presence. Being in the same room, people would feel so uplifted. So, there are so many such stories of great souls who have lived and who have achieved this freedom through what Swami Vivekananda talks about, the Karma Yoga or the Nishkam Karma or the path of work. So, we are all, the point is, how relevant it is to all of us. We all work. Someone works in industry, someone works as a doctor, as an engineer, as a finance assistant, a controller, an investment banker. Everywhere we are doing. But Swamiji says, any person, even a person who shines shoes, even if he has this understanding, he says he will do his work much better. So that what we have to do is, by engaging in doing whatever we do, again Gita talks about the concept of Swadharma. Not that say, no, from tomorrow onwards, I'll go and only work in Benares OPD. Not necessary. Wherever you are here. But no, whatever we do, constantly, we must verify. Go through the mind. What is happening to me? I am doing this work. What kind of uplift it is bringing to me? Where is it pulling me back? What kind of attachments it is bringing? Why? Only through that, by constantly engaging oneself in such pursuit, one slowly understands what exactly is the problem. Then once you understand that, you start working on that. And the very work, wherever you have you not seen amongst headmasters such great souls, teachers, such great souls. There are so many teachers who care only for tuition, only for money. But amongst them, there are extraordinaries. Amongst doctors, there are those who only run after money, give false prescription, have arrangement with some this or that agency. But there are great doctors, day and night to serve. Everywhere. So it is not exactly what we do. Wherever we are, we can. First, we must understand that we are in that kind of a bondage. We need that kind of a freedom. We must work for it. And where we are hampered, what is really bothering us? So all these questions, you start dealing with all that, then slowly you can make a beginning wherever we are, and slowly as you go forward in life, you will find that if you are a very discerning person, you find that it's possible to fine-tune whatever we do slowly into an act of great yajna or sacrifice. And that is how every work that you do can really uplift you. People who have been with us, they say, Swamiji, 5 years ago we came, we did not understand. So much we have gained in these 5 years. Doing the same thing. Very difficult to find out. We think that we are not progressing. We are all progressing. Every moment when we get a blow, if you go back and analyze why it happened, where it went wrong, what exactly is my problem, where am I attached, where is it pulling me, where is it really constricting me, where is it preventing my expansion, why am I not able to realize that freedom? As you go deeper and deeper, the very work that you do, one need not go anywhere else. One can be a simple housewife and yet reach great heights. There are stories, our Puranas, our Itihasas, our texts give glorious examples of such people. But done nothing but being simple housewife. But because of their state of mind, they were extraordinarily uplifted and realized the true goal of life. So it is not the type of that you do. One need not do anything great. How you do it, the state of mind, what is your approach, what is your understanding, that is what would determine the quality, and this quality alone would bring about an inner transformation. That is how you slowly become purer and purer, and that is how you slowly realize our true nature and attain to freedom. So Swamiji has brought this extraordinary new concept for mankind. So that whether it is America or India, East or West, anywhere, it is man or woman, young or old, literate or illiterate, wherever you might be, if you have the right kind of attitude, it is possible to elevate your mind and feel that extraordinariness within us. May Swamiji bless all of us and help us in our endeavor to progress to the ultimate goal of life through the path of Karma Yoga. Thank you.
We are very much grateful to you. Our kids who have prepared something. Should they go 5-7 minutes?
5 minutes. Short.
So short. Well, now.
Swami Vivekananda. An emperor who invaded India was told by his teacher to go and see some of the sages there. After the long search for one, he found a very old man sitting on a block of stone. The emperor is the most foolish thing you ever said. Emperor, you cannot kill me. Me, the sun cannot dry. Fire cannot burn. Sword cannot kill. For I am the birthless, the deathless, the ever-living, omnipotent, omnipresent spirit. This is spiritual bonus. You can hurry up.
About Swami Vivekananda. Once during his visit to Chicago, USA, Swami Vivekananda was taking a stroll on the banks of a river. There, he saw some young boys with an air gun trying to shoot at eggshells floating in the river. As the shells rolled up and down on the choppy water, the boys could not hit them. None of the boys hit an eggshell despite trying many times. Swami Vivekananda was watching their game with keen interest. Seeing this, the boys called out to him, "Sir, you have been watching us all this time. Would you like to give it a try?" Swami Vivekananda smiled and said that he would like to try. Taking the air gun in his hand, he aimed at the eggshells and concentrated on the target for some time. Then, he fired the gun 12 times and hit an eggshell each time. The boys were awestruck on seeing Swamiji's skill and asked, "Well, sir, how could you do this? Have you had a lot of shooting practice?" Swami Vivekananda smiled and said, "No, I've never practiced shooting." The boys were confused. "Then how is it that you shot so well?" Swami Vivekananda replied, "Well, let me tell you a secret. Whatever you do, concentrate all your attention on it. Think of nothing else. If you're shooting at eggshells bobbing in the water, keep your mind only on the target. Your aim will not fail." Concentration can work wonders. Even when you're studying, think of only of the lesson at hand. Then you will easily remember what you study. Thank you and Hari Om.